back.
Yes.
Whew. Okay, y'all. Now
It's
let's.
been a week.
It, it's been a week. It's been a month.
Mhm.
But visionary, not everything that brings relief restores us. Sometimes we reach for whatever helps us make it through the moment, and there is no shame in that. But when the relief wears off and we are still depleted, disconnected, or running on empty, it may be time to ask what we actually need. So, in this episode, we are going to be focusing on chapter 3 of Resilience and Reinvention in a Chaotic World. Chapter 3, as we explore the 5 pillars of self care, the difference between caring for ourselves and coping, and what it takes to build practices that restore rather than simply distract. We're also going to examine why rest matters in a world that continues to demand more from us while making it increasingly difficult to pause. Because self care can not only be about recovering enough to keep functioning, it must also help to preserve our bodies, our minds, our spirits, our relationships, and our capacity for everything that this moment requires. So, whether you're working through the book with us or you're encountering this conversation for the first time, we hope that this episode offers the language for understanding what your caring is doing for you and what you may need to be doing differently. So yeah. So how are you doing? How are you doing today?
Whew, I'm doing. Life is lifing as always, and it's been. But you know what? Even amidst some of the chaos, I've been finding those moments for joy, and good things have still been happening. So that is always the positive to that, to the underside.
Yeah.
What about you? How have you been doing?
Whew. I would say it's definitely the same. Um, there is a lot going on around us right now, like that just cannot be ignored.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel so much more equipped to navigate and be in this moment because of all of the intentional work that I've been doing, and then now having the benefit of having this and the workbook. I do the workbook electronically,
Hmm.
um, but yeah, I feel like it's definitely a challenge, but I know that I am not alone.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not alone, and I know that I have tools that will help me to face this challenge, better than I probably would have before.
Yeah. I agree. Nope, it is. And we just got out of our community call, and that was really amazing and inspirational. Every time we get to have our community call and we get to hear from the visionaries reading the book and going through this journey with us, it is just motivating and inspiring. And it really helps us see the work that we're doing is actually helping people. And so, thinking about the call today, what's one thing that from that call that is standing out to you?
Oh, oh my gosh. So it is the realization that we are breaking free.
Mhm.
It started kind of like as a question, I think, earlier as I was kind of thinking on, hey, we've now gone through these first 3 chapters and we've been looking at this kind of singularly, but when you take a step back and look at the body of what all of this is in service to, the breaking free, and
Mhm.
wondering, are we doing that or not? And realizing, no, we actually are. We are
Yeah.
breaking free. And it starts with that awareness. And it starts with that awareness and it starts with that desire for change because we know that we can't keep operating the same way that we've been operating. So I would say
Mhm.
that is coming up for me, the gratitude and just the joy that I get from watching us break free.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Same. You reminded me because I've constantly told you that all of the change that's happening, I feel like I'm in this hole and I'm trying to climb out, and stuff just keeps getting dumped on top of me. and I'm trying to dig out and see the light. And so I didn't necessarily feel like I was breaking free, but you reminded me that I took a huge step a few months ago to leave a relationship and a marriage that I'd been in for 17 years. And that took a lot of courage, a lot of strength. And it took me choosing me to say, you know what? I'm not happy and I need a change. And that was a breaking free moment. And it's still, I'm going through that transformation to find out what this new normal is going to look like. And it is hard. It's not easy, but I did make that choice that started the breaking free for me. And so I thank you for reminding me of that, because whoo, girl, I have not been feeling free. I've been feeling dumped on. So you
Yeah.
reminded me, and that's what I took away from that call, is that, every day is another day. And long as we have the tools and we have each other, then that means you have time to break free and continue that process. So thank you.
You're welcome. That is so awesome. And so, yeah, it's like we know, all right. Somebody said to me like the other day, they were like, "Oh, I'm just winding down, the end of summer." And I was like, I rebuke that because I feel like summer to me, like, I don't know, so, like, something's off about that. I'm like, are we, is summer getting shorter each year? And so I know that is something for like, for parents and folks right now. You've got, back to school, both of us also just finished attending two back-to-back conferences that had us in the same place but at different times.
Yes.
And then just also thinking about the geopolitical context, and the things, the headlines and the things that we are seeing that are very, very alarming right now, that
Right.
that really do impact the ways that we love ourselves
Mhm.
and pour into ourselves. So yeah, that's something, I don't know. That's something that I think about, and I it makes me wonder for you, like, why does this chapter hit different in August of 2026?
Yeah, this it hits different because when we wrote this a year ago, I was in a very different place, and I was able to still have that self care and have those moments of rest and relaxation and travel. One of the things I love that really helps me just really relax is getting to go. And now, this year, in this season of my life, with so many things in transition, it has hit different because I don't necessarily feel like I have the luxury to have self care because I have so many things going on. I feel guilty for taking those moments to rest and to pause because I got stuff to do. I got real things that I'm worried about, and real things, bills and deadlines, and people that that I'm responsible for. And if I so I think it hits different because we did a really great quote that says, you know what, you deserve rest, right? And it feels like a luxury right now. It feels like rest is something else someone else gets to have, not me. And so reading this and going through the exercises really reminded me that I have to give myself, especially during this time when so much is happening, personally, politically, socially, right? That it is more important now than ever to give myself those moments of rest. And I'm going to be looking at ways to do that, right? Whether it's 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, but we need to find those moments for ourselves. And that's why it hits different now, because I'm in a place where it doesn't feel like rest is possible. And but it has to be, or else I won't have the energy to sustain myself and keep going, for myself, for my family, for my community. So yeah. What about you? Does it hit different for you right now, or does it feel similar to a year ago when we wrote it?
Absolutely. So actually, it's been two, because that was 2024.
Oh yes, too. Oh my gosh.
Then
Time.
we had 2025. Now it's 2026. So I'm like 3 years into, I'm 3 years into survival mode, actually being business as usual. And there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing, and that is not a model that is sustainable, right? And so I
No.
feel like in now in this third iteration of looking at self care. And in this particular season, it's making me realize that maybe our self care hasn't been going as deep as it needs to,
Okay.
because also a lot of us may have been conflating coping with self-care, and a lot of us may have been connecting self-care to consuming and to capitalism. So that
Mm.
is like, that's something that also comes up for me too, like when you can no longer afford to participate in certain activities, and then you start to realize like, oh my gosh, like I'm doing these things. Are they, again, are you self caring or are you self coping? And what is, who and what is this really truly like serving, right? Like,
Yeah.
um, and I'm also recognizing and feeling that our collective is tired. We're tired.
Yes. Very
We
tired.
we have normalized a pattern of just get through it, burn out, and then go and recharge. But that is like, I equate that to like, when you've had your phone for too long, after a certain point, you're no longer able to recharge your phone to 100%. Or it'll go to 100%, but that 100% don't be stretching the way it used to before.
It runs out fast. Yes, that's very true.
It runs out so much more. And so I think that is something that's coming up for me, is that I feel the need for real and true self care. I feel it epigenetically, I feel it spiritually, but I also feel it collectively.
Mm. Mm. You know what? You bring up a really good point. And in the book we talk about kind of the different dimensions of well-being and what do we really need to help us really go deeper and really do that. So would you walk us through, for those of you that don't have the book, that don't have it, walk us through what those dimensions of well-being are that we actually talk about in our chapter. And when you think about those, which one do you think gets neglected the most, especially in high achieving women, and why you think that might be?
Yeah. So first, I'm gonna call out. So back in 2021, in connection with my jewelry business, and
Hmm.
I cannot tell you what seed was planted, but there was a seed that was planted, and maybe it was like this discovery that there were 8 dimensions of well-being, and I was like, oh my gosh, like nobody ever told me that. I never thought of that. And again, a lot of us, we just tend to think of these surface level types of things, right? So I learned
Hmm.
that there are at least 8 dimensions of well-being. So there's physical, emotional, social, spiritual, intellectual, occupational,
Hmm.
environmental, and financial. And again, in this particular time, I'm going to say like, and we know the number is probably farther beyond what's being reported. Is it 300,000 Black women? Is it 600,000 Black women? Is it 1 million Black women who are finding ourselves thrown out of the workforce, thrown out of ways of life and being that we were taught to gravitate towards, right? That we're going to, you do these steps, you do these things, everything's going to be okay. And we're starting to grapple with how all of these dimensions of well being are so interconnected. We
Hmm.
didn't go the route of getting into all 8 of those. We decided to focus on 5 specific pillars of self care, because in addressing these pillars, you are also going to inherently touch, those dimensions of your well-being. So the first is physical, and that is, are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you actually exercising? Are you moving? Are you connecting with your body? Are you eating healthy foods, and are you actually eating regularly? Do you have routines, like a self-care routine, or things that help you in your oh, there's a word for it, and I don't know why the word is escaping me. There's a word that is escaping me in that. It's not grooming, but it is like personal hygiene and all of that good stuff, right? That is part of your physical self-care.
Hmm.
Then you have your emotional, which is taking time to pause, practicing positive self talk, and practicing reflection and gratitude. And emotional, for those of you who've been following, like emotional is also one of the types of, support, social support, right? But just as
Mhm.
important as it is in finding people who, nurture us emotionally, like we also have to be, our own kind of emotional cheerleaders, if you will. And then speaking of social, you've got the social pillar of self care. So checking in with friends, family, and loved ones, practicing healthy social media habits. And that one, that's a really hard one, right? Because of how the algorithms are incentivized that may not be in alignment with what's actually conducive and healthy for you as a human right now. And then, of course, developing a strong support network, which hopefully from last chapter, you've been able to take some steps to help in addressing and nurturing that. Then you've got the spiritual, spending time in nature, meditating, practicing regular acts of kindness, but also tapping into your faith. Like, what is your actual belief system? What actually yeah, what is it that motivates you and drives you? Like, what are you relying upon? What do you know to be true? What is it that sustains you and keeps you going from that aspect? And then lastly, psychological, and that is, continuing to to learn and grow and to stay curious and to learn and understand new things, practicing mindfulness, and then also just being creative.
Mhm.
Uh, and I feel like that one, as I think about like being creative, connects to what we were kind of talking about earlier, and like being in survival mode, but not feeling like you have the room or the space to tap into your creativity. So I would ask you, like, of those pillars, like right now, what kind of what do you feel is maybe most supported right now, and maybe what needs like kind of like the most neglected um, right now?
Mm, the ones that I feel that are most, it's going to be, well, I'll just say the ones that are the neglect is definitely the physical. I know I'm not getting the sleep that I need because my brain won't shut off when I'm going to sleep. So I'm not getting the sleep that I need. I'm probably also not eating as healthy and as good as I should be because I'm also stressed or I'm working and I'm trying to problem solve. So I know those are my areas. I have a really good social and emotional kind of um, foundation for people that I can go to and talk to. But that physical right now is what is really lacking. And that's me getting back on just myself, my workouts. I love working out, doing all those things, but I just haven't even been in the headspace to do that because I've been really, really focused on getting things out. And so those are some things that I want to try to make sure I pick back up on. So, yeah. What about you?
So I'm looking at what I wrote in the workbook on this, and I would say that spiritual is most supported right now, but that's also because of how much the other areas are somewhat in service to this. Um,
Mhm.
I surround myself with spiritually led people that encourage me, which is not something that I was as intentional about before.
Yeah.
Um, I engage in more practices that help me with the embodiment of that, and I incorporate that into my work and my offerings. Um, and so I know that that's the key to feeling like to living and feeling more in alignment, which is like kind of and it's kind of preemptively looking ahead at what is next. But something I've been saying lately is that you can't embody what you don't truly believe,
Mhm.
and you can't fake the funk on that either. And so when I think about all these things that I gravitate towards, all these things I grasp at, am I was I really making choices or grasping towards or doing things um, that were real,
Mhm.
or were they yeah, were they artificially serving, and like were they really, was I really grasping the what's real, and what is something, what can I be doing differently? And so I feel like right now it is, got to grasp what is real and what isn't, and and I can't do that any other way than to um, connect more spiritually um, in my self care. So I will say that. But definitely the I actually am proud of myself because the eating is better. I instead of just like I was on this kick where I was making like the potato wedges and the like the all the air fry, like the easy air fryer stuff, but that's not necessarily like the nutritional food, that I need to be eating. And so I'm very thankful because I've been getting more fresh, meals and making healthy bowls with like salmon and cucumber and like avocados and all of that good stuff. And then um, rest. I've been engaging in a lot of rest, but I think that is also because, again, there's a tendency to just keep going and to keep going and to problem solve and to do all of these different things. But it's like, how do you know that you're not just continuing to busy yourself or continuing to do things that are in service that is depleting you if you don't actually take the time to properly rest and pause?
Mhm.
Just literally, that's it. It's so
Yeah.
hard. It's so hard. So hard as an overachieving, kind of high achieving woman. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's what comes up for me in that.
Where do you think the line is between self care and self soothing?
Ooh. So this is something that has been something that I've become very, very aware of is um, again, I'm leaning into my rest, and that rest tends to look like basically doom scrolling on my couch and maybe turning something on. So I'm like basically double screening it. It's like I'm feeling very, very overwhelmed from all of these things that I need to do, want to do, um, and so I'm finding that I then just kind of check out and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go rest and not do anything. Which again, again, it's like this fine line of like, yeah, my body does need the rest, but then
Mhm.
am I also just kind of self deteriorating, right? And then also
Right.
looking at like you're resting, but you're doom scrolling. So you're just looking through threads, you're looking at all these things that are just going to that are going to bring up even more emotional triggers.
Yes. Yes.
And so I remember specifically thinking about that just yesterday. And then I came across something that was talking about, hey, if you have access to Netflix, Toni Morrison's The Pieces I Am, that documentary is going away in about a week. So then I was like, you know what? Let me interrupt this right now. Let me watch this. Let me watch this documentary because instead of doom scrolling and having no control over the energy that I'm allowing to come in, I
Yep.
actually am now going to deliberately tap into ancestral intelligence. And that felt so good. I felt very, very inspired. And it felt like that was pouring back into me. So I don't know, did I answer the question?
Yeah, it's yeah, because soothing can be, it just feels good in the moment, and self-care is like it's actually replenishing and restoring you. And so there is, going to a spa or getting a bubble bath. Those things can be soothing, but in the day-to-day, is it sustaining your energy, replenishing you and refreshing you, or is it just an escape? And so I think, yeah, you explained that well. And I know for me, there are certain things that I do. I love to take walks, and they are turning into more of an escape versus something that is actually replenishing me. And so I'm going to kind of transform and kind of put a tweak and make sure that I'm going back in when I walk. I have my motivational music, inspirational songs, whatever those
Yeah.
things are. That so when I'm walking, I'm actually allowing myself to relax and to live those moments, live the words that are being filled that I'm hearing in my ears, so that I do feel I'm hopeful. I feel lifted. I feel inspired and motivated, not just soothed in the moment. And so I think that is a big thing. A lot of things we do, a lot of the big self-care markets that people go by for the massages and the other things, they feel good in the moment, but they may not be sustaining your self-care for the long term. And so finding that, you have to kind of examine that for yourself. Like, it felt good in the right now, but is that helping me for the
Yeah.
next? It's not like the rituals. What am I doing that is setting me up to be successful in the self-care practices that I do? And also just building them in so that they feel like they're a regular part of your day or your week, or whatever that may be. So I love that. Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of, and that is actually something that did come up in this monthly in this call. One of our visionaries, was talking about how like they really coveted their bubble baths and whatnot, and then but then they came to that realization of it was just an escape, and they weren't even able to like enjoy the moment because it's almost like, yeah, you're then counting, your clock is counting down internally, and then it's like, okay, all right, back to the real world, and it's
Exactly.
like that's not really like yeah,
It's
that's
not
not really
refreshing.
like it's not that's not really refreshing, and it's like, yeah, we got to be able to break. We've got to be able to break out of what is not real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And give and don't feel guilty for the rest and the self care that you take, because in this day, believe me, as I told you all at the beginning of the call, it's a struggle. This has been probably one of the hardest chapters to go through and kind of relive and do the exercises in this moment in my life. But it is needed, but it is definitely something that it feels like a luxury. And so we have to give ourselves that time and that space to say, I'm okay.
Yeah,
And this is okay to take this moment of rest. It's not okay to work yourself to the bone and then you get sick and then you have to take that care or that rest, not because you chose to, but because your body said, sit down, right? You are going to rest. And that's what we don't want to do. We want to make sure that we're sustaining it so that it's built in. It's a normal part of our day and a part of our life, and it's something that we give ourselves because we know we deserve it. We deserve that rest and those moments to ourselves. So
yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
So I would say like if someone's running on empty right now, and they don't have a week off coming, what is the
Mhm.
smallest real self-care move that they can make this week?
This is one that I'm doing right now. I'm about to this week map out my week and go, where can I find even 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, 5 minutes, if that's all you got, of time to just sit. So one of the things I love music. It makes me feel good. So I'm going to carve out this week just 10 minutes every day, depending on what time of day where I can fit it. And I'm just going to listen to two or three of my favorite songs, however many songs that 10 minutes allows me to have,
Yeah,
and listen to that music and just dance and sing and feel good. That's one of the things music always energizes me. But for you, where you're going, look at your day and say, you know what? Is it only 5 minutes that I have maybe to just sit and breathe, right? Just breathe and be with yourself. Is it taking a walk and you're just like, you know what, there's a park nearby me, or I live in an office, or I'm in an office and I can kind of walk around the hall, whatever that may be. That walk might be your thing to, like, you know what, I'm going to step away and I'm going to just go for a quick walk. Find those things. It doesn't have to be a whole day, but that's where you start as you look at your day and you make it a daily practice, because you might not be able to plan it out for the week because your week gets busy, but have a couple of things in mind that you know you can do: listening to music, taking a walk, sitting and just breathing, uh, bringing a book that you like. If you're home and you have time to like watch, 30 minutes of your favorite episode of something, but you can find those moments every single day in your life. And they don't have to be long, but they have to be meaningful and they have to be intentional. So look at the things that bring you joy, that fill you up, that just make you smile for no reason, and incorporate those things into your day where you can. So that's where I'd say start there. It's the small things that make the big impact. So do them.
Absolutely. And in our and actually in our book, we do get into like how to build sustainable self care practices, kind of
Yeah.
looking at turning intentions into habits,
Yeah.
um, understanding the power of cues, and then reinforcing with positive behavior. So if you do want to learn more about that, I highly
Yes.
encourage you to do that. But also, I want to kind of tap on to what you were talking about in like moving your body. Actually, one
Yeah.
of our visionaries sent me something yesterday, and I'll share it with you as well, on just these very simple movements that you can do with music that are in service to breaking up, because the trauma is also stored in our bodies. And so it's
Yes.
like we are being impacted by so much. Um, we're being impacted by psychological warfare. We are being impacted by so many outside forces and things that are actively antithetical to any level of love, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, again, self-care really is an act is really an action of self-love and self-preservation. So being able to move your body, I think that is also something that can help to disrupt that energy that we're taking on that doesn't belong to us, that is being
Right.
stored in our bodies, that is keeping us feeling heavy and keeping us weighed down and keeping us wanting to escape and to cope because we just don't know what else to do. So I'm going to
Hmm.
send that to you because I think that that'll be really, really helpful, and it's something that I'm going to be doing um, as well. And I
I
know
love.
because yeah, and I
I
know
love.
that I also have for me, I do have the ability to walk outside. I just have not. I haven't incorporated that into my day the right way yet. But I feel like this is also all of this is also just preemptively telling me the things that I kind of already know that we're going to be getting to, like in these next chapters of like, okay, finding living in alignment and finding a routine. Because again, even through these last 3 years, my life, it's been changing. Like the seasons, they are
Yeah.
changing, and what is required of me is changing. And it's like how do you create routines? How do you create practices that go with something that feels so unpredictable, right? But I
Hmm.
feel like I'm starting to get the pieces of the puzzles of, okay, what does Shy need? What does
Hmm.
Shy need on a regular basis? How does Shy what allows Shy to be conscious and fully present and listening to her body when something doesn't feel right, or when she realizes that maybe something isn't working and something needs to be adjusted. So I don't know, those
Yeah.
just things that are coming up for me, but I'm excited that we have these tools and we have, the ability to really
Hmm.
take this time. It is a commitment, but it is so, so, so necessary, because if you continue to try to live through this time without doing that inner work, you're going to find yourself lost.
And depleted. Yeah. No,
Absolutely.
you bring up some great things, and I love that because you Shy, you love music like I do. I know whenever I visit, we have on you have you on your I am a piano, and you have all the stuff, and we just be jamming. You have your pole, like you have so many things that for you bring you that joy. I know even just sitting on your porch with your coffee and watching like the little dove birds that come when they're
Yeah.
roosting there, like you have a lot of like those quiet moments of joy that are right there. You don't even have to leave your house. So I say, yeah, take advantage of that because they're there for you. You've got a lot that's there. And
Yeah.
then yeah, you do have the beautiful park. But thinking about next month's kind of episode in chapter 4, where we're going to be talking about like living in alignment. We've been doing the breaking free, and we are, which is superwoman syndrome, its support systems, and now self-care. Now we're thinking about how do we live an aligned life, right? A lot of people use work life balance. We don't love that term because it makes it seem like everything has to be perfectly balanced. And as we know, life is not that way. There are
Yeah.
some things that are always going to take a bigger percentage of your time than others, but it's how do you align it so all of those feel aligned and they feel right for you. And that alignment may change day to day, week to week, but thinking about that, what should our readers be thinking about between now and September to kind of prepare for that and get ready for that chapter?
I would say it's just making sure that you ha- have awareness of these different areas and dimensions of your life. If you've
Mm-hmm.
been following along with this, you should have a pretty good idea of what areas probably need the most attention right now, because that's also going to become kind of a seasonal foundation, if you will, to like what is necessary for long term sustaining. But also that again, that is that foundation to this next part that this next like body of work we're going to be doing together, which is navigating the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Which we've actually been. It's like it's not linear.
We've been doing it the whole time.
We've been doing it the whole time. It's not linear, but it's like you got to kind of go through it in a way. We're going through it in steps, but understand that it is all
Yeah.
interconnected, right? So I would say
Yes.
it's like just making sure that you can decipher and discern between what is real
Mm-hmm.
and what is true, what belongs to you and what does not belong to you. I think
Mm-hmm.
that is something that is going to help in moving into next month, and just recognize, and then just maybe just reflecting on the patterns and the things that may have come up for you and looking at um, these first three chapters were like identifying the problem, right? Or problem.
Yep. And
So I,
doing the internal work. Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm
no, we look
excited.
forward to it. Yeah, because we did a little pivot this time. Our call's usually the second Saturday of the month, but this time it was
Actually, third.
Sunday. So
No, third. We
mhm.
do third
I'm
Saturday.
sorry, the third Saturday of the month. And so our next call will be in September on the third Saturday. So we'll be back doing it then.
It'll be
And
actually on
we
September 19th.
December 9th or September 19th. So
Yeah.
that be looking out for that. We'd love for you to join us. Feel free to bring people, join us. We always also put it on. This is a live call, but we also, well, our community call isn't live, but this podcast is live. So you're able to kind of revisit and look back at the episodes. But those community calls, we don't record those because those are in the moment. You kind of got to be there, and
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
people are going through a lot, and we don't want to air anyone's that we don't want to share anyone's, the things that they're going through publicly with people that they did not want to be sharing
Yeah.
those things with. So join us if you're needing that community. And the mantra we want you to keep in mind, because August is still going, still got a couple weeks left, and the mantra for chapter 3 is really: caring for myself is not indulgent. It is how I sustain everything that matters. So keep that in mind. You deserve rest. Caring for yourself, self-care, self-love is resistance. It is how you sustain yourself. And so make sure that regardless of what you give out to everyone, you have to save some of that for you so that you can sustain who you are and continue doing the amazing work that you do. And we're going to be right here along that journey with you doing the same thing. So, as we always say, we give you the tools and the truth. We are not experts, but we are in this journey with you. We are learning and growing, and we are right here with you. So, we look forward to next month's community call and next month's podcast and what you all learn from the book and workbooks. And keep us posted, and please share and comment. Tell us if you've got our books and you've got the workbooks and they're helping you. Let us know
Yeah.
how they're helping you, because we are always interested, and we want to know that the work that we're doing and putting out there is making a difference. So thank you.
All right. Well, bye. Thank you.
Goodbye until next time.